There we go. I know that'll work.
Just in time because we are live. We're about to go on the air any minute now. Don't you like that countdown, Ted, I just gave you?
Yeah, that's Paulette. That's how he does the countdown. It's never like 5, 4. It might be like 1. It's kind of like that. It's like, you know, yeah, it's kind of.
Because I was looking for the countdown.
No. He makes sure he's ready. If he's ready, then we ready. I guess that's kind of how he does.
Okay.
We're a little different here.
Yeah.
Welcome to the 30-minute hour. It's the weekly podcast where we discuss business, sports, politics, and whatever's on our mind. I'm your host, Eric Twiggs, your procrastination prevention partner. Joining me as always is my partner in crime, my right-hand man. You know him as the super CEO, the business strategist extraordinaire, and all-around good guy, Ted Fells.
Happy Monday. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. So normally, Ted, it's like you're broadcasting from Las Vegas. Looks like you're not in Vegas this week. You're not on CNN. What's going on? What's the deal?
No, man, I'm just here in my conference room. That's it.
Just in your conference room.
Did a little something different. Now, I noticed that you did a little something different with your background.
Absolutely.
Not only do you have the beach background, you actually have wind and water and everything. So you took it to another. You look like you're actually on the beach today.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I thought it's time to step my game up. I was having some snow issues on the last podcast we did where my thing was coming apart. So I got a different computer that where I don't have to use the green screen on my chair. So it's
Wow.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I have to tell you about it a little later here.
You're moving on up.
Yeah, I'm trying to be like George and Wheezy. That's all.
To the east side of town.
That's all. That's right.
A deluxe apartment.
In the sky.
Woo, moving on up. All right.
All right. So for those of you that are still watching us at this point, you'll notice that this is not your everyday podcast.
No.
We do things a little differently here. So definitely check us out on our Facebook page right here, the 30-minute hour. You can see the previous episodes. You can also go to our website, which is the 30minutehour.net. And as you can see, we've got a guest with us. We'll be introducing her here momentarily. But first, Ted wanted to talk to you about the What Now movement. Yeah, man. So some big things going on in the What Now movement. So today is Marketing Monday, right? So first we had Brad Goodium. He did a presentation today on how to turn your marketing into like this big event and get people to come and really to build that excitement. So you need to go into the What Now movement group and check that out because it's Marketing Monday. But not only that, you get the opportunity to promote your platform, promote your links. I mean, we've got over 1,300 plus entrepreneurs and authors and career professionals. And I'm telling you, Ted, I have a feeling.
Okay.
Like today, somebody's gonna get their big break.
Today is their day.
Today is the day. I can feel it.
Ooh.
I'm telling you, they're gonna get discovered.
Right.
If they put their link out there.
Right. Yeah. You have to. It's like you have to play to win, though. I mean, you can't not put your link out and then complain that you didn't get discovered, right?
Right. They didn't find me.
I mean, if you want to win the game, you have to play the game. That always helps, right? That always increases the likelihood that you'll win. But no, in all seriousness, make sure you go to the What Now movement Facebook group. Put your promotional link there, and that way you can be featured. And speaking of being featured, Ted, this is the perfect time to talk about our sponsor of the week.
Sponsor of the week.
That's right. The sponsor of the week. It is Vision and Purpose magazine.
All right.
That's right. With Dr. Sharon H. Porter. and Karen McConnell Jones. They are the sponsor of the week. And as a matter of fact, I may do something a little different here. Something we've done only a few times on the show. I'm going to share my screen so everybody can see.
That's what you do when you are the host.
That's right.
You start the show when you want. You share your screen when you want.
I didn't tell you that backstage, did I? This is just like brand new.
No.
I just kind of sprung it on you.
That's it. But it looks great though.
Right. So this is Vision and Purpose Lifestyle Magazine. You can see the fun crew here. You can see the most recent edition, and that comes out in digital format. It also comes out on an actual print copy.
Okay.
Traditionally, and here are the founders, Karen McConnell Jones and Dr. Sharon H. Porter.
Nice.
A lifestyle magazine. They cover a range of topics. So you want to visit V&P Magazine, and they're also doing a special where they're featuring entrepreneurs, right? They're featuring authors in the next edition of Vision and Purpose Magazine. So you can get your book out there. And again, I just, Ted, once again, I just have a feeling somebody's going to get discovered.
Oh yeah, this is the platform to do it.
Right. Somebody is going to get their big break. So it's critical. Check out V&P Magazine. Make sure you subscribe. For more information on how you can be featured as an author or featured as an entrepreneur, have yourself and have your business on the spotlight, you go to info@vnpmagazine.com. Again, that's info@the letter V and ANDP as in Paul magazine.com. All right. And Ted, I promise I will not be sharing my screen anymore the rest of the episode.
Sure. I don't want you to be sharing like some elementary picture of me or something on there that you got your hands on or something like that. So.
That's a great idea, though.
That's a terrible idea.
For the future here. All right. So Ted, I've got something that's on my mind.
Please share, Eric.
All right. I think I will. So I want to talk to you for these next couple of moments, and this really ties into our special guest. I'm going to talk to you about this idea of another set of eyes. That's right. Another set of eyes. So there's a famous story, and it's told of two young fish, and they're swimming along, and they happen to meet an older fish who's swimming in the opposite direction. And the older fish, he nods and says, "Hey, morning, boys. How's the water?" Right? So the two young fish, they swim on for a bit without responding until one looks over at the other and asks, "What the heck is water?" Here's the takeaway. Sometimes it takes another set of eyes to keep you from overlooking the obvious. Have you ever felt like you were failing to achieve your goal in spite of doing all the right things? Ted?
Oftentimes.
Yeah. Right. And it's easy to get frustrated. And here's what I found, like in this instance, working harder doesn't work. Right? Yeah, you think about it. I mean, you think, okay, this isn't work. I'm an author. I'm trying to get my book out there. This isn't working like I think it should. Just working hard is not going to solve the problem.
Yeah.
What you need is another set of eyes to point out the obvious detail that you've been overlooking. And this explains why elite performers in any arena, you talk about sports, you talk about business, what have you, they have a coach or they're a part of a mastermind group or the combination of the two.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we all have blind spots. So and this ties into our guest and what we're going to talk to her about today, because our guest, she has been another set of eyes for hundreds of authors, and it's kept them from overlooking the obvious when it comes to writing, publishing, and marketing their books. Now, she's an Amazon #1, 2-time award-winning best-selling author, speaker, and storytelling strategist. She is somebody.
Oh, definitely, she's somebody. I can tell. Say no more.
Yeah. So with over 7 years in the publishing industry, and 11 published works, 11, her coaching includes workshops, group coaching, and one-on-one training. So as a storytelling strategist, she teaches emerging storytellers how to tap into their creativity by turning their words into stories that will transform the lives of the readers. She's also the creator and founder of Storytellers Academy, a service that helps nonfiction writers become published. Please join me in welcoming to the 30-Minute Hour podcast, Paulette Harper.
Hello. 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 I'm glad to be
Welcome,
here.
welcome,
Thank you for
welcome.
having me. Thank you both.
Yeah, it is an honor and a privilege to have you on. And I just want to start off by thanking you for sharing what you shared when you were in the What Now movement group. And you did that Thought Leadership Thursday. And I just thought your points were just like solid and right on time. So I thank you for sharing that.
Thank you so much. I had a pleasure putting that piece together and sharing that out.
Excellent, excellent. So let's start from the beginning. Like what experiences led you to begin this career in writing that you put together?
Yeah, I actually started writing from going through a divorce. And so I began to share that story of my own transformation and my own setbacks and disappointments in life from that, and began to just kind of journal what I was going through, and wanted to just really for me, it was a form of therapy at the beginning, just writing those moments out and those emotions out and what was going on in my own life, and then just really was compelled to put it in book form. And I had never written a book before. I didn't even know any authors at that time, but I just knew that it was something that I needed to share with other women, because I was married to a pastor. So there was other women who were in ministry too, who were probably going through some things similar to me, but they were real quiet about it, because we're just known to, don't, share your business like that, especially when you married to a pastor. You hide that.
Mm.
And so I just wanted to share my story, and let people know that, you can still bounce back. God can still use you, and there is still purpose and a plan that God has for your life, no matter what setbacks and disappointments you have and heartbreaks that come along the journey.
Awesome. Now it's interesting because a lot of authors that I talked to, their career was triggered by pain, by some painful. Do you find that to be the case with all the people you work with? That's a common thing.
Yeah, especially when you're writing nonfiction, those are transformational stories, life experiences, and our books are birthed out of the pain, just like mine was. And so a lot of my clients, they come and they're either going through something, or they are coming out of some kind of traumatic experience. But yeah, a lot of times we the words flow through our pain, because it brings therapy for us. And when we can find that we can write and share what we feel and how we feel, and do it in a form that is very therapeutic for us, then we can really be able to articulate those emotions in a greater way.
Awesome. So studies show that 80% of the population has an interest in writing a book. But what advice do you have? Because I think the final number is like 2% end up writing one. So what advice do you have for our followers? There are people that are watching us right now that are saying the same thing. Yeah, I want to write a book. They've been writing a book for the last 15 years.
Eric, there you go again, man.
Hey,
right, there's people that's right in one of the boxes right here with with you and I that would just been talking about writing a book for you. Go on, just throw me under the bus, Eric.
Oh, he talking about you, Ted?
Paulette, yes, he's talking about me, Paulette.
Oh,
so,
okay then. Okay,
yeah.
well, I came to help you out then.
Yeah, I'm over here taking notes, Paulette.
Okay,
I'm taking notes.
All right.
For a friend, I'm taking notes for a friend.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
I think he felt, I wasn't talking about him, I think he felt convicted, you know, he felt like I was on his street. But in all seriousness, I mean, what advice do you have for all these people out here that want to write a book, but they don't know where to start?
Yeah, one of the things that I share with people is to, you have to find something that you're passionate about. You think about, your passion. If you want to write a subject book or a reference book, an educational book, what's your passion? What drives you to do that? It could be an experience that, taught you some lessons in life, or a period in your life that was transformational. We've all gone through something in life and we have some value that we can, bring to, other people. We just have to tap into that. And so if there is a topic that you are, driven to write, or just something that you do, you can be a coach or, some financial expert or a health expert, health and wellness, and you use those experiences and those, positions that you've held in the past, and you write about those kind of stories. So
Awesome.
whatever you're passionate about and what drives you, or maybe some transformational experience as well.
Let me ask you this. So do you find that people undervalue their story?
Mm-hmm. I do. I really do, because, we can be really ashamed, especially if we've gone through something very traumatic, or maybe we've gone through something at the hands of someone else that brought us pain, and other people that were part of our suffering, and so we feel guilty, and sometimes in those experiences we feel like it was our fault, and we don't value our stories. And the thing about those kind of stories and experiences, we can really use them we can change the narrative on it. It doesn't have to define us. It doesn't have to dictate how our future is going to be panned out based on those experiences, but we can really start sharing our messages, because there's other people who need to hear these kind of stories. Our stories are meant to be, shared out. Our stories are meant to be talked about. Our experience are meant to be expressed. And so we do that in our writings. And so people have to be okay with the scars, not that you are forgetting them or you're excusing the people, but you don't have to let those, experience define who you are. And you can still move in life, and you can still, pursue your goals and pursue, life, and you can still live your best life in spite of what has gone on in your worst life.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, for me, like, I know I procrastinated on writing a book for a while. My book is about overcoming procrastination, but I procrastinated on writing a procrastination book, believe it or not. But,
oh my God. Okay.
That's a whole other show. But the part of the reason is because I went through this thing in my mind, like, okay, well, what am I going to say that everybody hasn't already heard? And I found myself just taking for granted my stories. And so, like, sometimes I'd be talking to somebody about something that happened to me, and they're like, oh my gosh, but I didn't think of it because it's my story.
Yeah, what happens is once we decide we're going to write, we have those internal objections. It is those thoughts that try to talk us out of wanting to write our stories. It is trying to, our thoughts, come in and tell us, nobody wants to hear it. Who's going to listen to you? There's 1,000 books just like this. All those internal objections, that stops us from really, pushing past fear and procrastination, to finally say, you know what, I'm going to do it regardless. Because the thing about our stories is there may be other people that, for me, I've gone through a divorce. There's thousands of people who have gone through a divorce, but my experiences are not the same as someone else's. And so I can share those different experiences because my audience who I'm trying to reach is going to identify with the experience that I've gone through. So everybody may have, stories, but nobody has the same experiences. And those are the things that we need to share. Those are the things that we need to talk about and release, because there's other people out there who are waiting just to hear what we have to say and waiting for some sense of hope that we can bring them in our writings.
Yes, great point. So based on your experience, how can writing a book be beneficial to a follower? How can that help their career and what they're trying to accomplish?
Yeah, one of the things that I ask, my clients is, why is it that you want to write a book? Because once you decide that you want to write it, is it for just inspiration? Do you want to write because you want a new career? You want to build your business? So you find out what your why is. And once you find that out, once you write your book, there is a sense of, people look at you as an expert. And they're going to come to you because you've written this book, and they look at you as an authoritative figure. And then also, of course, it creates, other streams of income. I use it as a business card that opens up other opportunities for me to speak and other opportunities to even build products around my books. And so, you may not make millions of dollars off a book, but you sure can make money off of other products and services that stem from, creating your book.
Great. So we're talking to Paulette Harper, the author, the speaker, the coach. I know we got quite a few people logging on now. Please, if you've got questions about writing a book, where to start, make sure you put them in the chat section or the comment section, and we'll get them answered for you. All right. So not only are you an author, right, but you also help other aspiring authors. How did you transition from writing yourself to helping other writers?
Well, when I first started writing my books, people kept coming to me and asking me to, show them how to write books, because they had books that they wanted to write, but they didn't know how. And so I started teaching what I knew. And from that, I started, teaching workshops and having, group workshops. And then people start asking me to teach them one-on-one. And so I went from, the groups to, teaching one-on-one. So people have, a desire to write books. They just don't know, what to do, how to do it, the process of publishing. And so it was really, the knowing that there was a need for people to have one-on-one coaches. And then it was an opportunity for me to share, with other people. I love helping other authors, write their books. I love helping them, take them on the journey of publishing their books. And so a passion that I have, and we have stories within us, and so when I saw that there was a need and people wanted it, then, I said, yeah, I want to help you. And so it's been, a blessing to be able to, share my gifts that God has given me and my talents on helping those who want to write books as well.
So Paulette, what do you think tends to be the greatest challenge someone has, people tend to have in getting a book started, from your experience?
Yeah, just really starting. Eric mentioned about procrastination. And so that is really, one of the major stumbling blocks for, first time authors. They don't know, where to start, how to start. Some authors think, okay, do I start at the end, or do I, do a memoir, autobiography, or do I just, teach, or, write about some just, certain experiences in life. And so they're not clear. They don't have the clarity on which story that they want to write. And so because they can't break through and decide on that, they don't do anything, And so it's fear, it's procrastination, it's not having clarity. And then for some people, it's just kind of being intimidated by the whole process of publication. And that's when, you really do need a coach to help you through that process, because you can find someone that can come alongside of you and be your accountability partner and keep you, motivated, and keep you keep your momentum going, so you can finally get to the finish line.
Wow. Now do people ever ask you questions like, well, how long does a book have to be?
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, those kind of questions, and how many, the word count. And so, one of the things that I do is, I share with, my clients, when it comes to how long the book is going to be, your book can be as long as you want it to be. Because this is your story, we're talking about writing, nonfiction. Your story can be as long as you want it to be. But it can't be real short either, so no, because I've seen some really short books on Amazon, like, wow, okay. So I'm like, it has to be enough content in there that's going to really, engage your readers, is going to bring them into your story. You want your readers to, be one of the characters. You want to be able to, draw them in. And so, if you're going to be able to do that and do that successfully, it has to be enough content in there that's going to, solve that problem.
So you've written 11 books. You've been a best-selling author. So like if you could travel back in time to when you were writing your first book and coach yourself based off of what you know now, what advice would you give to your new author self?
Yeah, one of the things that I would really tell my new author self is just to keep writing. Because my last book came out a few years ago, which was my fiction novel. And I've done a couple of anthologies, but I haven't written, my own story, my own book, or even another fiction. But that's because I've been doing, other businesses, and working with other authors as well. But I often think about, man, when the memories come up on Facebook about what you've done last year and whatnot, I see my book cover and I think, wow, it's been that long since I've written a full novel, a full book. So those are moments that I think about. My new self, it would be just keep writing and don't get out of the flow of it and the zone of writing.
Okay. Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah, I would probably tell myself not to write and edit at the same time. That was my big
You can't do that. No, you can't do that. No, you don't edit your own stuff. I mean, you can self-edit a little bit here, but you don't edit your whole book. You give that to the professionals to do.
Yeah, I needed you like 7-8 years ago. I'm telling you.
No, you never edit your own stuff, because that's your story, and you connect with it, and your eyes are not going to see every mistake, every word that's misspelled, every run-on sentence. It's just, you're just not going to do that. And so that's why you have to hire professionals to do that, to help you with that.
That second set of eyes, absolutely.
So I wanna ask a question again for a friend. So
Okay.
so what's the first thing that my friend should do in getting his or her book off the ground?
Okay. Well, you can tell your friend. They have to really get the clarity on their story. What is it that they want to write? And once they get the clarity on their story, then it's about outlining it and deciding what kind of content, what is it that I want readers to know about my book, about my experiences, about whatever it is that I'm going to be writing in my book. And so you get the clarity, you find whatever topic you want to write about, and then you create your, your subtype, your sub topics that are going to help, support what that chapter is going to be, discussing. So it's really getting the clarity and finding what is it that you want to say that you can resonate with other readers, and it's something that you want to, convey. Our books should solve a problem for someone, and so if we can write something that's going to solve someone's pain point, someone's problem, then we'll have readers, we'll have followers, we'll have people that's going to come and read our books.
I'm sure my friend would really appreciates that information that you shared.
Okay, well, you tell your friend they can look me up, and I'll be glad to coach them.
All right, absolutely.
Hey Ted, your friend may even be able to talk to her right now. You never know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
So as a best-selling author, earlier we were talking about blind spots. Like what are some common blind spots that keeps the typical author from becoming a bestseller? What are some of the things that they don't see? When you come in and you see some things, what are some of those things?
Some of the blind spots definitely would be, not hiring professional editors. Blind spots is not having a great book cover, something that's popping. Blind spots could be, not knowing the market, because there is, when you want to become a best-selling author, you sell books, of course, but there's categories that you have to pick, and even with that, you just have to set your book up to be able to be in that position to become bestseller. That is, pricing it right, and so, some authors, you tell an author to price your book at 99 cents for your ebook and $1.99, they look at you like you're crazy. But there's a system to that. It's not like that's going to be the price forever. But if you want to become a bestseller and you don't have a great following, you don't have a large following of readers, then you have to do those kind of strategies to get you to that place. And you build a street team, you build a team before you start, even before you 6 months before you publish your book, you start building your street team, you start building your readers, your beta readers, you start building people to help you. Once your book launches, you can depend on them to help you spread word about your book, read your book, review your book, and share it in other platforms.
I've never heard that, building your street team. So basically, so I mean, what are some steps people can take to build a street team?
Well, you find people that, want to read your particular type of genre. Mm-hmm. And you reach out to them and ask them to, convey or read your story, read your book. They're called beta readers. You can, find beta readers. And so, there are people who will read your story before it officially gets launched, and they give you, feedback on it as well. And you find people who, can support you, can read your work, support you, and who believes in your work. And so they're, going to, be part of your launch team. They'll help strategize with you on how to get word out about your book. The thing about being an author, we can't be an island. We need readers, we need support, we need other people to come alongside of us and help us. And so once we can build a team of people to help promote our works, then it makes it, so much easier for us to, reach more people, because we have more arms that can, help support us as well.
Okay. So Paulette, during 2020, right, with everything that's been going on, I mean, has that kind of opened up some new kind of books that you're thinking? If there's anything you can share on that.
Actually, not so much with the books, but products. I've been able to create some digital products in this pandemic, and I'm still, doing, one-on-one coaching. I'm actually doing a 6-week writing challenge. Oh, and Ted, your friend, might want to do that.
6-week writing challenge. Okay.
I'm doing a 6-week writing challenge, and I'll start another submission in another month or so. But I've been able to still be creative, and still, reach other people that want to write books as well. So, just trying to do what I can in this pandemic, and being sensitive to, where people are, financially, and just really being sensitive to where they are emotionally. The thing about, this pandemic is this is a great time to write. This really is, this is a great time to share your story. This is a great time to write it. This is a great time to, do those things that you've been putting off for the longest because you had a 9 to 5.
Mm.
And so this is really the best time to start writing your story, and, and getting it out there, especially we're at the end of the year. And, for 2021, the first quarter, get it out, write it, get it promoted, and release it.
All right.
Right.
So here's another question, common question that we get. Traditional versus self-publishing. Which would you recommend for someone and why?
Well, it's the person's preference. And I teach authors how to self-publish. And so for me, it is really self-publishing gives me the, it's my book. I have the, exclusive rights to what I do with my own book. I'm on my own deadline. I, determine my own book cover, and so I do that. Whereby, if someone wants to go, traditional, then they have to go through an agent to get to, a big publishing house. And, those publishing houses, you just can't submit, unsolicited manuscripts to them. You have to go through these proper channels. And so it just kind of depends on what your reason for doing both. For me, I found that being self-published gives me the flexibility to, do whatever I want to do with my book. I'm not on anybody's timetable. Nobody is going to, take stuff out of my book that I don't, want there. They're not going to, change my tone and my voice and my work, And so, you just ask yourself, why do you want to do either? I recommend people do self-publishing because it removes the middleman, it really removes the middleman from, getting his 2 cents, his coins, on your work. So you think about that as well. You have to do all the work, of course, but once again, if you're going to do self-publishing, then you make sure that you know the market, you make sure you know how to do it, and you know how to do it properly. Or you hire someone, such as myself, to help coach you to the process.
Great, great. And so again, you ended up starting the Storytelling Academy. So how did you end up starting this academy?
Yeah, I started Storytellers Academy because it's a stream from my book, and it's a membership course. It's a membership course that I'm going to be launching in 2021, and so I wanted to put a membership course together that authors who don't necessarily, want the one-on-one coaching, but they can pretty much go on their own and do it themselves. My course will address those those individuals, and so they'll be able to go be on their own pace to go through the process of writing their book, getting it published, and then also promoting it as well. And so from my course, the Academy, then those that, want, the coaching, then of course I can do that too. But I wanted to give people, many opportunities, and many options to write their books.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And so what's an example of one of the storytelling strategies that you teach people?
Yeah, well, one of the strategies that I teach people is, you really have to have a story that is going to be, captivating. And when I say captivating, you have to be able to meet your audience right where they are. You have to be able to deliver some information in your book that's going to capture your reader. And so once we get, the clarity on that, then it's really about how can my message resonate with other people? And then how can I get my message out to those readers? How can I find those readers who want my story, readers who can identify with what I've shared in my book? And so, the strategy is really, having clarity on your story and then reaching the ideal customer, the right ideal audience, because everybody is not going to read our books. Our families and friends, yeah, they'll buy our books, but we have to think outside of that if we want to, really reach other people with our books. So we have to, really be strategic in finding our ideal audience. They're out there. We just have to find our tribe, and then really, it's really, about creating that personal connection with our readers. And once you learn their pain points, learn the things that drive our readers, and then we be able to, produce and create a product that's going to meet those needs and those passions and those, desires.
Absolutely. So you got 11 books, like we mentioned earlier. If you could only promote one of them, one out of the 11, which one would you promote and why?
It would be my novel, Secret Places Revealed, which is an award-winning novel. And so it is an inspirational romance. And I would really want readers to get to know the characters in that book, Simone and Aaron, and their love story. I wrote it at a time in which I was still writing nonfiction, but I wanted to write a fiction novel, and God gave me the ability to do it, and He connected me with the right people to help, my book look really well in editing and cover and all of that. And so I encourage people, if they want to read a clean, inspirational novel about characters who are flawed, characters who, don't have it all together, characters really who are not even looking for love, but love finds them, and they create this relationship with one another, and they begin to grow with one another, and they develop this love for one another. That was, it was something that I think the reason I wrote it was because I wanted to find myself in my own book, and I wrote that. And so Secret Places Revealed.
Okay. So let's talk. So your writing process, and you get this idea for the next book. Talk to us. What does your process look like? Like, how long does it take you from idea to, hey, I've got this thing in my hand now?
Wow. Well, there's quite a few steps in between that. But, once I get an idea about a book, then it's, if it's a nonfiction book, then I want to, outline my story. I want to, decide on what it is that I want readers to know. What do I want to say in my book? What do I want to write in my book? And then I do chapter by chapter, meaning that I select my titles, and then based on whatever that title is, I already know the content that's going to be in that based on that. So I do my outline, and then once I get my outline done and I start writing my story, and then I have to have a deadline for myself, because I can too fall into that zone of, putting it off, letting other things distract me. There's other things I can do around my house, but so I have to have a deadline for myself. myself, and I got to set, a goal. Okay, I'm going to be done with this, by this certain date, and stick to it, and if I find myself not, finding, following my own rule of thumb, then I have to seek out, other people to help me be accountable for it, and then once, I finish writing my book, then I'm finding the editors. I'm finding, the content editors, the developmental editors, whatever kind of editors I may need, my proofreader, and then I'm making sure that, I'm doing what I need to do legally to get my book, published, protecting my intellectual property and doing that process as well. And then, once you do that, then it's really about, getting your book out there and, marketing and promoting your book and getting readers to read your story.
I have another question from a friend. What's the range and cost to kind of to get a book written and kind of to get it out there?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's going to depend on many factors, and if you're writing nonfiction, then of course the word count and how many pages it's going to be, and then you have to consider the editing and how much edits need to be done on your book. So, once you determine that, and that's you connecting with, editors, and then they, checking out to see how much work needs to be done, they're going to give you a fee on it, how much it's going to cost them to edit your book. So it depends on that. And then, of course, your book cover. And if you are getting something, created by a graphic designer, tailored for you, then, that price could be anything,
Sure.
just because the graphics that goes into that. You can find somebody to do your book cover for, starting at 200 on up, and so it just kind of depends on that. And then, the business side of it, copyrights, ISBN number, barcode, and all that, that has a fee. And then you factor in the marketing as well. And so the typesetter, the formatter. So I would probably, you can publish a book depending on, the edits that need to be done, I'm just going to say like, probably maybe about $4,000, or more. Because if your book needs a lot of edits, then the majority of that is definitely going to be on the edits, and everything else is, going to be not as expensive unless you get somebody that's going to do your book cover, your graphic design, that's going to, not be like stock photo. I mean, I use stock photo. I have a great graphics designer. She does a wonderful job, and so when you're self-publishing, your book doesn't have to look like it's been self-published. Mm-hmm. The cover, and then also the manuscript. And you want to make sure that your readers are going to have a great experience when they read your book. You don't want someone reading your book and they can't go any further because they can't get past the edits that got a problem with, and
Yeah.
and those people, they're dissatisfied with that, and they'll post a bad review for you on Amazon, and rightly so. So yeah, we want to make sure we give our readers a good experience and write the best book we possibly can.
I tell you what, it just seems like that editing piece. I have a lot of author friends, and they tell me all these horror stories about they've had their book on the shelf and had people tell them about all the mistakes in the book, and like that was like my nightmare. That somebody's like, "Oh, you got all these misspelled words." So you help people with your service as far as editing and all that good stuff too, right?
Well, what I do is I help people self-publish. And so I outsource. I share with my clients. I give them my little black book of professional literary experts. So I connect them with editors and proofreaders that I trust, that I've used, that other people have used, who have references, who have, helped, tons and tons of other authors. And so I connect them with people that I know that's going to give them the quality of work that they deserve as an author, that the books that, they're writing once they're published, there's no book that's perfect, and so no matter how many eyes you look at it, there's something that, will get, slip through. But that's, you have to have those professional people looking at it. And so the editing piece of it really is very important. An author should never cut corners on that. And, you find people who are qualified editors, you get references, you get referrals, you find other, I found, a few, editors on Amazon. I went and looked on Amazon and looked under, inspirational fiction. Some of the authors now that I knew when I was writing my book, I went and checked out who their editors was on their books, and I went that route. So you can find great editors if you do the work, if you look for them, but sometimes first-time authors, they want to cut corners, they want to go the cheap route, and they don't want to get their book edited. And the result is the readers are not going to be happy. And you really have to, if you're going to be an author, be an author. If you're going to do this thing, do it right. Don't come in and be, shady about it. Don't come in and just want to cut corners just because you want to be an author. Do it right.
So do you have to be a great writer to write a great book?
No. You know why? Because that's the job of my editors. When I start writing books, my first and second draft, and sometimes the third, they're not perfect. I just write. And so I don't, dwell on the fact that I'm not the perfect writer, because there really isn't a perfect writer. We grow as writers, we grow in the craft, we get better as we write our books, yes. But that's, the reason why we have the editors to help us, so that they find our flaws in our books, they find the holes in our books and our stories. And so, we hire them to help polish our books, to help our books look the best, and so I just leave it up to them. I write my story, I write my draft, I give it to the editor, she sends it back to me all redlined and everything. And I just do what I do, I fix it, because at the end of the day, it's all about me having a book out there that I want readers to enjoy. It's about me writing a book that is impactful. It's a story that can be entertaining, but it's a story that's gonna, really resonate with readers. But I want my readers to have a great experience reading that as well.
Yeah, that's a great question, because I know a lot of our that's the one, those voices you have in your head. That's one. Well, I'm not a good writer. I've never gotten good grades in English, blah, 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 blah.
Well, you know what? What I can say to that is this. I didn't grow up wanting to be an author. I didn't start writing until I was in my 40s. And so, writing at 40, only because I had, went through the divorce, that transformation, that transition in my life caused me to do that. But I didn't, think about, when I was growing up, I wasn't thinking about being an author or a writer or anything like that. And so, you write where you are. You write where you are, and you let other people help you in the process to get your book the way it should be, that you have a book that you're proud to say, this is my book. Yeah.
No, that's great. That's great. I just believe you've helped quite a few people that are watching this right now, looking to get their book project.
People that are participating in this Zoom, you've helped them.
That's good, because I got quite a few people who looked. I did the watch party, and I have quite a few people who are looking as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. So how can our followers best connect with you?
Well, of course, here on Facebook, And then on Twitter and IG as well under Paulette Harper. They can go to my website, which is pauletteharper.com. They can find my books on Amazon and also on Barnes and Nobles.
And can you throw out the one book you said you would promote? Can you throw that out there again? Because I know people are just chomping at the bit to get it. So
yeah, it is called Secret Places Revealed. It's an inspirational fiction. Secret Places Revealed.
and that's a great title, right? You're like, man, I want to know more about that.
Well, Coco Black, one of our viewers, said, "I'm getting that."
Oh, thank you.
And then she said, "Yes." So that's exactly how she put it there. So I guess she's going to be getting online and making that happen. And then Sheldon Shank said, "Definitely some good info." Lento Johnson definitely helped me. So yeah, you've helped a lot of folks today. So we appreciate you sharing.
Wonderful. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think it'll probably be good for us to we can put your links and stuff in the chat, because I know there are people that are probably going to be needing your service. Because again, I mean, the theme of this show is about having that second set of eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to save what I was going to say next to my part when we do the when we go around the horn. I'm going to save my thought. I'm not going to give it away here. But so we're about to go around the horn. This is the time of the show. It's actually Ted's favorite part of the show.
Oh, this is my favorite part of the show, because all the time, Paulette, the interviewee gets on and they say something really great and profound, and then Eric has me go right after them.
I don't know how to take that.
So yeah, take it easy on me, Paulette. Don't you've already dropped some good nuggets throughout. You don't have to do anything too heavy right here. Just something that I can, follow behind.
Okay.
Yeah. What closing, just final thought do you have for our followers?
Sure. Yeah. So I would just really say those that want to write a book, the time is now to do it. Decide on what it is that you want to write, and find someone that can help you go through the process. And if you don't know how to, if you want to self-publish on your own, I just encourage you to just learn how to do it, and learn how to do it right. And there are people who are waiting to hear your story and waiting to hear about how you have been able to reinvent yourself through your own life experiences and whatnot. And so there's an audience that's waiting for the things that we have to share and to tell. So yeah, just do it. Quit procrastinating and just do it.
All right.
Eric, I'm sure you probably like to put an ad in there if someone's having issues with procrastination. I'm sure you could help them out.
Yeah, again, Ted, if only there was a book on that topic that we could refer to on the show. I mean, that would really be helpful.
Do you know of any books on that topic, Eric, that could help someone with procrastination?
You mean with like The Discipline of Now, 12 Practical Principles to overcome procrastination?
Is that your book? That's your book, Eric.
Oh, is it his book, Paulette? Look, I think both of his kids have had to do a book report on that book in school, so they don't get to choose what they want to do. Daddy, we got to use your book. Yes.
Okay, I hear you.
Ted is trying to hint at the fact that I talk about this book a lot on my show here. So
that if you know what, if Ted and his friend had a book, they would do the same thing.
Oh, I'm telling you, when Ted's friend gets his or her book written, oh boy.
Yeah. Exactly.
But on that though, I mean, one of the things I think that struck me is that when you write a book, you're one of thousands.
Yeah.
Right. The world is littered with authors.
Yes.
So like if you aren't talking about your book, it's just going to sit there.
Yeah, it really is. You have to really keep your books in front of readers, and there is always someone who hasn't read your book yet.
Right.
And you have to find them. And so in order to find those readers, you have to talk about your book. you know, 1, 2, 3, however many books you have, you know, you talk about them. You have to keep those books in front of readers so that, you know, you can continue to, you know, build your fan base. You can continue to, you know, engage it with readers and whatnot. And so you never start talking about your story. You never start talking about your book.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
All right, so Ted, you're
Up next. Yeah. So again, Paulette, this has just been it's been a great segment, and you know that I think when you kind of started this off with just finding something that you're passionate about and what drives you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I think all of us have something like that,
Yeah.
right? You know, and that we could write about in our story and our perspective, and I just think that just the advice from you has been very I think very motivational, right? Because a lot of people are thinking, who wants to hear my story?
Yeah.
And you have basically said we all have a story to share, and the way that we share it, and that we're all, one thing that we're experts in our story.
Oh my God.
You know, so we really appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate being on. It was fun.
Right.
so as far as my closing thought, I'm reminded. So a little while back, I did a book signing with another author. It was F. William Samuel. We did a book signing together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were at Hampton University, our college. And this other author, I mean, he's very outgoing, very, communicates with his class a lot. He wrote a book in 2011. And this was 2017, 2018, something like that. So it'd been out for quite a while. And literally all these people in his class were coming up to him like, oh man, I didn't know you wrote a book. Yeah, let me get that. Oh yeah, look, I didn't know you had a book. And I know, and he would talk about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it just goes to show you kind of the lasting power that a book can have.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I never forget that years later, and this, it's now been like 9 years since he published his book. And I know there's still people that, are going to get his book and everything else. It's just the lasting power of having a book and being published.
Yeah.
So hopefully that encourages someone who's on the fence or procrastinating. Because once the key is you need a Paulette in your life. That's what you need.
That's what you need.
You need that second set of eyes to tell you.
Paulette's got it.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
That's what you need. You need that second set of eyes to help you with, the editing process and the book cover process and some of those other little details that you may be overlooking. Yeah. But by all means, start. It's so important. And when you're done, you'll be so glad that you got through the process and you'll feel great about what you accomplished.
Yeah, definitely. It's really, no greater feeling than to own your own book. I mean, it's your baby. And once you get it in your hands, it's like, wow, I did that thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what, the day when, you write the book, and you go through the process, when that book arrives at your house and you're holding it for the first time.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. And it's, it happens every time you write a book. It's not just the first time, for me, it's every time when I wrote one and I got it, I'm like, wow, because I started out thinking there's no way I have that many words in me, and I proved myself wrong that I did. And I had to pull on my creativity, to get it done. But yeah, you're absolutely right. When you get a book in your hand and you've labored for it, you have invested in yourself and your business, and you've poured out your heart into the work, into the book. When you get it, it's nothing like it.
Mm. Yeah. Absolutely. So even after book number 11, you still feel that same feeling.
Oh my God, yeah, because I mean, your mind has to be in a creative mode to write, and when you can be creative and you can articulate and you can pull words out and experiences out and you can package that in a book that other people are going to resonate with and be entertained by,
Mm.
I mean, it's like, wow, I did it again. You know, it's nothing, especially if you've gone into writing and you didn't think about being an author,
Yeah.
you know. And so for me, when I get them, even when I do anthologies and I get it, and it's like, wow, you know, it's amazing because the journey to get here was through pain. To get here was through a lot of heartache and a lot of sadness and a lot of, major breakups. But I wouldn't trade it for the world because I see what God has done in my life and how He has just really, transform my life to, be able to share my story and write my story and then help other people do it. So yeah, when I get books in my hand, I'm like, wow, look at that. And then I go back and I read my books, and I look, wow, you wrote that. Okay.
That's great.
That's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, and I know, like I said earlier, I know you've helped quite a few people on this book writing process, and you may have even gotten somebody off the fence. They're going to just take that next step. So
Yeah, please do, because there's a world of people just waiting, especially now in this pandemic. People are hurting.
Yeah.
People are suffering and people need a solution. I mean, if it's not, monetary, they need a solution in their emotions, they need someone to be able to help them through this process, and if you've been able to do that, oh my God, yeah, share that with other people, help someone else, get through the what we're facing now, so that's why it's such a great time to write our stories now, because there's people home, there's people that can read, they'll be reading our stories and whatnot. And so we have to just really take advantage of all the moments that we have to be able to, craft our books, start our businesses, and do what we, are passionate about doing.
awesome. So one more time, put your information out there so that people can start blowing your phone up as soon as we log off.
All right. So they can connect with me here on Facebook. My website is PauletteHarper.com. They can find all my books on Amazon and Barnes and Noble under Paulette Harper. And those that want to write a book and they need a coach, here I am. Please, connect with me, message me, let's talk. And let's go through that process of getting your book done. Because I can guarantee you that if you start now, you can get your book done and have it released by 2021.
Wow.
All right. The challenge is out there.
Yeah.
All right. This has been another uplifting and inspiring episode of the 30-minute hour podcast.
Absolutely.
It's truly not your everyday podcast. Once again, we want to thank Paulette Harper for sharing all her insights on the writing and the book publishing process and the value of having that second set of eyes. Until next time, have a great one.
Thank you.